Most of the babies that I have come from hide kill shelters, either as strays or as owner surrenders. Most rescues are not equipped to have sanctuary animals. I mean, they can't just hold onto an animal that's not going to go anyplace, that's not adoptable. I have been asked by a couple of other rescues, actually 3 other rescues, if I would take dogs that they had that were just holding up spaces for healthy animals. So after I get all their food bowls out, filled, then I'll get their medicines and start. Some of them will take their medicines in their food, which is nice. This is for Cookie. She'll be on this, the lactulose, for the rest of her life for her cirrhosis. And she gets melatonin because she started having a little skin issue. I guess the most common other medication I have is heart and respiratory medications. It takes me about an hour to give medicines in the morning, and then I have a few of them that get mainly eye drops. I have a lot of them on eye drops. You have to see, this little one has dementia. She gets so excited about food, she's forgotten how to get in a crate, and she gets upset when I go to pick her up and put her in, but she doesn't remember how to go in her crate. Mr. Pig. The dogs always have me up by about 8 or 8:30. First thing I do in the morning, of course you can see I have to do my beauty treatment and get myself fixed up before I start anything with the dogs. I don't really sleep all that much. If I have any of them that are, particularly ill or having a problem or can't settle and they're roaming around. With these dogs, I'm kind of like a mother with a newborn. I get so tired. You could probably set off a bomb on the outside of my house and it wouldn't wake me up. But, if one of these little dogs whimpers or, turns over in their crate or whatever, the least noise that they make wakes me up. I know a lot of rescue people are up like at 5:30 in the morning, but sometimes I'm not even going to bed until 5:30 in the morning. I just sleep as long as they let me if nothing's going on. There have been times, if one of them is sick or something's going on, like I'm just up all night. I had one little one that was starting with bad seizures that I was up for a whole 3 days with that dog. Every time I would lay down, something would happen. I always say that cleaning up with 19 dogs up here right now is like trying to eat gummy bears and brush your teeth. This is Heidi, the little handicapped baby. This is her crate every time she gets in. So her crate has to be cleaned and changed multiple times a day. Heidi is real underfoot, but she has taken to liking this chair. No matter what she sits on or where she goes, she leaves her little traces because she's totally incontinent and has no bowel control from her paralysis. But she loves her little chair. This is load 5 and 6 just from this morning. And some of my laundry has to be washed before I can put it in the washer. I'm trying to get on another load in here, and then I'll also have a washing machine in the shop. I get it going too. And this is what kind of puts me behind too. This little dog is blind and starting to be a little neurologic, and I'm babysitting him right now. He's one of my previous babies that was adopted probably about 6 years ago. He gets out here and he can't find his way back in. So, and I have a few of them like that. But I've always had a real soft spot for animals in need. So ever since I could, I've always picked up stray dogs, stray cats, would have them vetted and try to find new homes for them. So I think I've basically been a rescuer at heart for all my life. But how I got into this format, I lost my husband, his dog, which was very hard, and my father in about a year's amount of time. But when my husband died, I just cannot express to you how much I loved this man. I mean, he was really, you know, they talk about your one true love or whatever. I mean, he really was. I absolutely adored him, you know, and when he died, I just slipped into this, I call it a black hole, because it just absorbs anything and everything in your life. You know, despite like therapy and medication, I stayed in that state for 5 years, actually. And then I somehow ran across, and I don't even remember how I found him, but there is a shelter in Vermilion Parish in Louisiana. It's actually not a shelter, it's a rabies control facility. They had a very, very high euthanasia rate, and there's one organization that works with that shelter. They're the only ones that can pull from the shelter, so if you want to adopt an animal from there, you have to go through this organization. I saw where they needed a foster temporarily, so I volunteered. So they were supposed to bring me a few dogs. Well, they ended up bringing me 8. What you have to do, I mean, ending up having all these animals for quite an amount of time, you had to come out of being more than a zombie existence, you know. So I always say that the animals were absolutely my salvation. Before I got involved with the animals, I had no mission, no guidance, no direction. You know, I was just absolutely floundering in the dark. And these animals brought me back down to work, to the world, made me focus, made me care again. I really think that the animals have been the vessel of God's love for me. He set me on the road to this mission, and I truly believe that, and it's been a lifesaver. During the day, if we have accidents that are not on the covered portion of the floor, I just throw towels down. So at night, I have all that to pick up and clean up again. We wet mop again and steam mop again. And towards the beginning of night is when I try to get other things that I need to do for the rescue, you know, like check emails, you know, my Facebook, my website, write thank you notes, you know, acknowledge my supporters and donors. So it's kind of busy all the way up until I go to bed, and then the next day it just starts all over again. If I died or was, you know, very long-term incapacitated, like coma, where I didn't expect, or no one expected me to be back to the rescue, I have in my will, all of my animals would come with a sustainable financial donation for whatever rescue would take them in and care for them. I would really hope that if something happened to me, that in some way, shape, or form, the rescue could continue. I would love to get into a pattern where I have some big fundraiser every year that would keep the rescue kind of self-sustained. I mean, now it's kind of, you know, wherever I can get finances, you know, but I don't know that I've really broken down individual costs. I mean, it wouldn't do me any good. It's you know, that's why I can only accept X amount of dogs. With the kind of dogs that I take in, I can't take in more than I can afford. You know, that's kind of a precarious thing, because also the kind of dogs that I take in, You never know when there's going to be a very expensive emergency, like Precious last week. You know, she was in the intensive care unit in an oxygen tent for several days at MedVet. Her bill just for MedVet was almost $3,000, but I had probably about, you know, another 500 or so at my vet for her before she got to MedVet. So in this kind of rescue, it's kind of hard to anticipate really extreme cost, but somehow, you know, I have to raise it. I mean, you can't take in an animal and just decide, oh, I've spent enough money on you. Same thing with the medicines. You know, when it comes time to reorder it, I reorder it. You know, I don't really think about what that particular cost is. And how I pay for it, for the most part, it's my retirement savings. Well, when one of my babies dies, you grieve, you have heartbreak, you're sad, but there are others to take care of. So you just have to move forward and do what you have to do for the other babies. I guess it could be likened to a parent losing a child. You know, their life can't stop. They have to carry on for the rest of the children. So, you know, I just move forward and do what I have to do. And usually the next one that I bring to my sanctuary will be in honor of the one that I lost. Just kind of playing forward the love and the hope that I had for the one that I lost, but came here with love and hope. Most important to me, what people take away is that I truly care about my animals. This is my passion and my desire. I do everything that I can for these animals, and I would just hope that I fade off letting people know that I truly care, and if you donate, all of the money goes to the animals. I love these babies. I love them.